Now in this lecture, we're going to perform a static analysis of the developed 3D frame using Truss elements. So let's go to the simulation and let's create a new study. We go with static study and let's call this Truss. Truss 1, and let's click OK. Here we have this part 3. So let's open this, cut list, tube, let's open this one and this one. And here we can see our elements. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Now first what we want to do, we want to apply material. So let's go right click on the part here and apply material to all bodies. We're gonna go with 1060 alloy, so let's go here to aluminum alloys and let's choose 1060. We want to make sure that we have elastic modulus and yield strength. So let's apply this and close. And we can see that here we have our material. Now we want to treat those elements as trusses. So let's right click on this element and here we have option treat as solid. So we can check this, and now here we can see that the icon changes because this one is treated as solid. If we don't want that, we can right click and we can choose here treat as beam, but we don't have a treat as truss. But now let's click treat as beam and let's right click and let's go edit definition. And here we can choose beam or truss, and by the default we have a beam. So the software recognizes this as a beam, but we want to treat this as a truss. So we're going to check a truss here, like this. And let's click OK. And now we can see that the icon changes to this one. Now let's go right click to the second one, edit definition. Let's check truss and OK. We can see the icon changed. Let's go here for those two, edit definition, truss, OK, and here also. Truss and OK. And now our objects will be treated as trusses. So when we define beams or trusses, the software automatically generates a new group here, and this is joint group. The joint groups calculates the joint in the analyzed structure. So we can right click here on the joint group, edit, and now we see that here we have our joints. Here we have to select beams for which we want to calculate joints. And we want to have 4 joints here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 joint here under intersection. But now as we see, we have here 2 joints and 3 joints here. But now let's click calculate and nothing happens. Now let's go here and instead of all, let's choose select. Now let's select this one, deselect and select again. And now let's calculate. And now we see that we have a joint here. Because on those joints, we're going to apply fixture, and in this joint, we're going to apply load. So the software identifies a joint at a free end of a structural member or at an intersection of 2 or more structural members. So what we want to achieve is this. We want to have 4 joints here for a fixture and 1 joint here on the intersection for load. And this is it. Let's click OK. Joints are recalculated and OK. The next step is to define fixture. So here we go to fixture, right click, and let's go with fixed geometry. So only translational restraints can be applied to truss joints. And we're gonna use immovable no translation. So we're gonna choose this joint, this joint, this joint, and this joint. And now here we can see this arrow, the blue one, and now we can see that this object is fixed on those joints. Let's click OK. The next step is to apply a load. So let's go here to external loads, right click and force. First we have to select vertices, reference points for force. We're gonna choose this joint. But before we choose this joint, we have to choose here joints. And now we can click on this joint. And this joint is here. As well here we have to select a face edge plane for direction. So let's click here, open, and let's go with top plane. Now make sure you have SI units, and we have here a force along plane 1 we're gonna have 2000 newtons. Along plane 2, we're gonna have 4000 newtons. And along plane 3, we're gonna have 6000 newtons, and we're gonna go with reverse direction, like this, to down, not to up, but to down. And now let's click OK. And now in the last step, we have to define a mesh. As we said in the first lecture, when you treat our object as a truss, then we have one element per body. So we can just right click here on the mesh, and we can create a mesh. And now we can see that our cross section has changed. Before we have a square, and now we have a circle. So when we mesh our object, the truss elements are represented by cylinders regardless of their actual cross section. And now as we see, we have a one element per body. In the next lecture, we're gonna run our analysis.